Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk in the LT. I've got some opinions today. Let's dive in. We'll just say that the topic of today is autonomy, but I'm talking to you, school leaders, because autonomy without support isn't empowerment, it is abandonment. Abandonment. You cannot abandon teachers and expect your business to go well. So let's go. Many phrases that I've heard over the years. We trust our teachers. Our methodology is flexible. You have full autonomy over how you deliver the content. Now, some of you who have worked with me might say, well, Kelly, you've said that to me. Let me dig into this and tell you why I have a strong opinion on it, because I will say these things, but hopefully I'll back it up. So all these things, trusting teachers, flexible methodology, full autonomy over how you deliver lessons, that sounds great, right? Except when it comes with no planning time, no resources, no training on how to build anything from scratch, and no one checking in until something goes wrong. Suddenly, that autonomy seems a little bit less like freedom and a little bit more like being pushed into the deep end with a gentle good luck. So, let's be real. Autonomy only works when it's paired with support. And if you're out there struggling as a school leader or a coordinator or a director, or you want to be one and are unsure if you're able to take on the job responsibilities, here's my biggest pet peeve is just give people support. Because if you're not giving them support, it's not empowerment, it's abandonment in a coordinator costume. That's pretty much what it is. The things that the schools failed to provide are tools, structured, and scaffolding to make things work. Because teachers come into schools at all different points in their careers. I know I've hired some. I've worked with, I can't even tell you how many. So when teachers come in, it's not like, let me give you the standard toolkit. Here's how things work. Off you go. No, you give things to people where they are. Where they are might be very different from their peers. So, some people need a little more handholding. Some teachers need a little more handholding because they're just new, or they don't know, or they haven't done these things before, or they need a little bit of extra help, or etc., etc. And some people are, seasoned veterans, and they say, like, this is great. Let me go off and do my own thing because I've been freelancing for a while. This is very similar to what I've been working with. And so I'm super comfortable. I'll let you know if I need an assist. Awesome. Fine. But we can't treat teachers if we say that you're super autonomous here, we won't micromanage you, but then you treat everybody the same. Either you're going to be micromanaging soon because you're going to have lots of problems, or people are just going to be leaving because they're not getting the support that they need. Okay, anyways, this whole mess of, oh, we won't micromanage you, but you also are not helping me. It maybe even comes as, we'll judge you a little bit later for not knowing how to do these things, but okay. It just pretty much creates a pressure cooker for teachers, especially new ones. Anybody working in complex context, I consider children to be very complex because they have, cognitive development stuff going on as well. So you can't really work autonomously as a teacher if you're being expected to uphold certain standards. Anyways, pretty much freedom that is being promised to you quickly becomes anxiety because you don't know if you're getting it right or not getting it right. I mean, I don't even know how you get it right with being a teacher. I mean, I guess we could define that eventually, but decision fatigue from designing every single lesson, modifying every single lesson. Isolation No one's there. You send a message, you get a PowerPoint sent back to you. That's not support. Uh, Fear of making mistakes, anybody? Because, you were trusted that you should know better. And then if you make a mistake, it's like, you shouldn't have done that. Well, I mean, there's some things that are pretty obvious, but when it comes to teaching, no. I mean, some people, again, different places. So, anyways, this is not empowerment. That's kind of silent expectations and quiet judgment, which I find to be very unfair for teachers. What does supportive autonomy look like? Again, school leaders, coordinators, directors, or people who want to step into those positions, or people who are owners and they're struggling because they're having small revolutions on their hands of teachers leaving, low retention rates, things like that. What does supportive autonomy look like? Because teachers do want autonomy. They're the ones in the classroom and they should be given autonomy in the classroom. I'm not teaching your students, you are. So I'm here to support you in any way, shape, or form that I can. But at the same time, these are not my students, they're your students. And I can't make you dependent on me if I'm your coordinator or if I'm a consultant, because if I make you dependent on me, then I'm not doing my job. So, anyways, what does autonomy look like? Clear framework. Teachers know the goals. You can choose the route, but we know where the objectives are. A pedagogical team that checks in without breathing down your neck. Just those little messages. Hey, how's it going? Are you doing all right? Do you need anything? Are your students okay? Anything popping up that you want to talk about? Okay, that's fine. Resources that you don't have to create from scratch every time. So you should have a library of resources. And all of those should have basic frameworks, things that you can use if you want to. But if you think, you know what, I could use this and it's going to work, but I want to just modify it really quick. Fine, at least it cuts down on the amount of time that you need to modify it. But in a pinch, you should be able to use anything within that library. And also a culture that invites reflection, not surveillance. I tried to do this in my most recent experience, and I try to do this constantly in the places that I'm working at and consulting with, that I want you to try to think about why is something happening, so that you are creating those reflection skills so you know how to, well, one, reflect on it, but also come up with different options to be able to test out to correct the issue. So, in other words, autonomy without backup, not autonomy, as an excuse to avoid investment. So, we need to really praise the brilliant, creative, and deeply committed teachers who were given all of this freedom and still ended up exhausted, unsure, and blaming themselves because they were not good enough, or no, you were not given the support. Mentorship is important. It doesn't matter if your title is not mentor. If you're a leader in a school, then you are a mentor and you should be coaching people through situations. So this is my spiel about autonomy without support. Just is abandonment. There's a lot of teachers in this situation, and I know it's tough. A lot of people have to kind of grin and bear it because financially, or they have to have some sort of stability, so that's frustrating for you. I get that. I very much understand that. But it would be helpful for people to start asking these questions when they go for interviews, or they start talking to potential partners and things like that. What kind of support is expected, what's being given now, all of those good questions about making your life in an institution better, because you should have support. I mean, sometimes it's inconsistent. Sometimes your leader, coordinator, director is just going to be bogged down with a bunch of things, but it should be relatively consistent and always there for you. So yeah, just beware of those places that say, we trust you. It's totally flexible here and you can deliver it however you want, and then just ghost you. That is not going to be an optimal working environment. And if you start getting responses like you don't even get a message back, you just say, hey, I'm having trouble with this student or this group of students or this class or this material, and then you just get a PowerPoint sent back to you, run. Anyways, that's it for this episode. So, things you should look out for uh, when you're looking for places to teach, and things that leaders should be thinking about now, giving some sort of support, because without support, your people aren't going to stay. That's it. See you later.